In a stunning display of rural fury, the Bush Summit in Ballarat, Victoria, turned into a battleground on August 29, 2025. Farmers and rural communities unleashed their anger on Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Victorian Premier Jacinta Allan, condemning what they call a reckless push for renewable energy that's devastating their livelihoods. This wasn't just a summit, it was a showdown over the future of Australian agriculture. The Herald Sun's annual Bush Summit, held at Civic Hall, was meant to discuss regional issues like drought support and energy infrastructure. But when Albanese took the stage, the atmosphere was electric with discontent. A farmer in the audience directly challenged the Prime Minister. Why are regional communities paying the cost for renewable energy? Where is the social license? Where is the regulation to protect our communities, value our farmland, and preserve our environment? The question drew thunderous applause. Albanese responded by acknowledging poor consultation on renewable projects, saying governments haven't done well enough in engaging communities. He emphasized that renewables are the cheapest form of new energy and that climate change is real, backed by science. But his words fell on deaf ears. The crowd erupted in boos and jeers, with one attendee shouting, "Turbines aren't going to fix it, Albo." Another woman, wearing a Vic Farmers t-shirt, leaped to her feet holding a noose around her neck in a chilling symbol of the desperation felt by many. The backlash was even fiercer for Premier Jacinta Allan. Her keynote speech on drought support and energy infrastructure was repeatedly drowned out by interruptions, especially when she touched on renewables and transmission lines. About a dozen audience members turned their backs on her as she spoke, and one man yelled, "Nobody wants you here." Outside, the protests escalated dramatically. As Allan tried to leave, angry farmers and CFA volunteers blocked her exit with tractors and fire trucks on Creswick Road, forcing police to scramble for an alternative route and bringing Ballarat's CBD to a standstill. Albanese didn't escape unscathed either. His motorcade was chased through the streets by fast-moving tractors, a vivid image of rural rebellion. Signs on the tractors read "Weak leader equals weak country," and questioned if power bills had gone down. At the heart of the outrage is the aggressive rollout of renewable energy infrastructure, particularly the Western Renewables Link, a 190-kilometre high-voltage transmission line from wind farms in Victoria's west to Melbourne suburbs. Farmers argue this project, part of Australia's broader plan for 10,000 kilometres of new lines to achieve net zero by 2050, bulldozers through prime agricultural land without proper consent or compensation that truly reflects the intrinsic value of their properties. Skipton farmer and CFA veteran, who saw his emergency services levy skyrocket from $3,000 to $10,000, and projected to $30,000, called the policies a crippling tax and felt kicked in the guts. Another protester, Sulky farmer James Plush, told reporters, "She's trying to roll these renewables and transmission lines across the most productive farmland in Australia to 3B4C." He emphasised that no amount of money can replace the deep connection farmers have to their land. It's their castle, much like in the iconic Australian film. The new Emergency Services and Volunteers Fund levy has compounded the frustration, seen as unfairly burdening regional volunteers who already give so much. While Allan paused a tax hike for a year in May, it's not enough to quell the anger. Attendees at the Ballarat Bush Summit made it clear, the push for renewables feels reckless and disrespectful, prioritising urban energy needs over rural realities. As one farmer put it, "We don't want it." With construction on projects like the Western Renewables Link delayed until after the 2026 election, the government's listening. But is it hearing? This clash highlights a deepening divide in Australia's energy transition. Will policymakers adjust course? Or will the tractors keep rolling? The farmers of regional Victoria say the fight is far from over.